When I was a little boy in Bible school, we used to sing a song that went kind of like this. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. All those years ago, I never dreamed that God would have me in the pulpit at Victory Church preaching about Zacchaeus and so many of the other wonderful accounts where Jesus met people. Zacchaeus, we're told it was a publican. We're told that he was very wealthy. And we're also told he was a tax collector, not the kind of guy that people wanted to see come into their house for sure. And the Bible tells us he was small of stature. He had heard about all the great things that Jesus had been doing. He heard about the blind man that couldn't get to Jesus because he couldn't see. So Jesus came to the blind man and he picked up some clay from the earth, spat in it, put it in the man's eyes and said, "Go wash and you'll be made whole." And sure enough, that's what the guy did. And he was able to see for the first time in his life. And then Zacchaeus also had heard about a woman with an issue of blood. She had cancer and she had spent all the money that she had just trying to get well. Seen every doctor that she could see. And yet none of them were able to help her. But she heard that Jesus was coming into town, and I'm sure some of her friends tried to help her get to Jesus, but there was such a great crowd, she couldn't get there. But in her great faith, she thought, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I don't even have to touch him. I don't even have to speak to him. He's so mighty and so powerful. If I can just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. And she did, and she was. Zacchaeus had heard about the widow that had an only son, and that only son had passed away. And as they were in a procession of death going down Naaman Road, on the other end of the road coming toward them was another procession, and it was of deity. That's where Jesus came by, laid his hand on that casket, and said, "My son, arise." And the boy that was dead was alive again. Zacchaeus had heard about all these great miracles, and he heard that Jesus was coming to town that day. And as I said earlier, he was small in stature. He couldn't see above the crowd, so he climbs up in a sycamore tree. And there he sees Jesus. And his heart was so heavy wanting to get to Jesus, Jesus walked right up to him and called him by name. Jesus had never laid eyes on him before as a natural man. But as soon as he looked up in the tree, he said, "Zacchaeus, come on down, make haste. I'm going to your house today. Salvation is coming to your house." Folks, everything changes when Jesus passes by. It happened for Zacchaeus. It happened for the blind man, for the woman with the issue of blood. And it'll happen for you. If you'll simply call upon the name of the Lord, you shall be saved. That's the word of God. Folks, you don't want to take another minute without Jesus. I can't imagine laying my head on my pillow tonight and Jesus not being the last thing I think of. I can't imagine getting up tomorrow morning and the first thing I think of not being Jesus, because it always is. He's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and he'll be the greatest thing that's ever happened to you.